going to be hearing the word trailblazer a lot in these next episodes. A trailblazer is a pioneer or an innovator that defines the path forward. They are new and they are different. Or, as one of my managers puts it,
trailblazers, right, they're pioneers, they're innovators, they're lifelong learners. They inspire you, they inspire me, they inspire us all, and they drive change.
Kevin Pashuk is COO and Senior Vice President of our Public Sector Business Unit here at Salesforce. He has over 20 years of experience working with trailblazers in government and aerospace, seeing how they're applying the cloud in mission-critical scenarios firsthand. And thus, I could think of no better individual to bring on our show today and talk about the term that we're using more and more to describe the ingenuity behind our clientele. This is Our Digital Nation. Stay tuned.
Our Digital Nation is brought to you by the FedRAMP-approved Salesforce Government Cloud. Give leadership, management, and employees the mobile, self-service, analytical tools they need to connect data, process, and people. Create a digital platform that puts the customer at the heart of the mission.
So, thanks for joining me today, Kevin.
Claire, glad to be on the podcast.
Excited to have you, especially after such a big week last week. Our team was gathered in DC for our World Tour event. And for those of you listening who don't know what that is or haven't visited us for World Tour, it is our traveling road show. Dreamforce, our annual user conference, is a 4-day event here in San Francisco. And we pack that all up into one big day and take it on the road.
We are here in the Reagan National Building in the center of Washington, D.C., talking to government customers about how we build the government of the future. So today we're really showcasing how we think about what capabilities government customers need to serve their constituents, citizens, employees, and stakeholders.
And Kevin, we came and saw you guys last week in D.C.
Yes, it was awesome. We had a few thousand government customers in attendance. Of course, Tony Profit, our Chief Equality Officer, gave the keynote, We Are All Trailblazers, where he featured brands like T-Mobile, Adidas, 21st Century Fox, and my favorite Trailblazer customer, Amtrak, and the CTO of Amtrak, Sovin Chatpathy.
So, Kevin, this was a pretty busy week for you, from what I understand, as well as for Sovin from Amtrak there. He also spoke at a FedScoop event, if I have that right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah. FedScoop put on a IT modernization summit. They do this once or twice a year. It was held at the Newseum. It was a pretty incredible event. Goldie Kamali, the CEO and founder of Scoop News, had a bunch of government rock stars. For example, Suzette Kent, who's the brand new CIO for the U.S. government, hosted a session. Chris Liddell was there talking about government services and had a fireside chat with a few others. There was Margie Graves, who talked about the MGT Act, and it just was an incredible event. I got a chance to speak myself and Sovon. And the one thing that kind of stood out to me is, while everyone was there talking about government IT modernization, a lot of the conversation was focused on process, technology, and policy improvement and change. It's super important, right?
Sure.
But to me, one of the most important elements of change is the people. And, not just any type of person. I'm talking about trailblazers, because it's the trailblazers who successfully modernize and transform government.
So that's interesting. I heard you use the word trailblazer a couple of times now. Can you pause for a second and talk to me a little bit more about what a trailblazer is, especially with respect to technology?
Yeah, absolutely. So trailblazers, right, they're pioneers, they're innovators, they're lifelong learners. They inspire you, they inspire me, they inspire us all, and they drive change, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know who trailblazers are in your organization. They're the ones that just don't settle for the status quo. I mean, let's face it, when we take a look at the technology challenges in government, they've been around for 200 years. And sure, they might have become more complex through each industrial revolution, especially if the government didn't keep up with the pace of change, which is often we see that. But the trailblazers, right? The trailblazers see through the challenges or around them or past them, and they achieve great things in spite of them. In fact, every industrial revolution, Claire, has been defined by trailblazers.
In recent years, the fourth industrial revolution is being recognized by more organizations. A revolution the World Economic Forum described as, and I'm going to read you the quote here directly, a fusion of technologies that is blurring the lines between the physical, digital, and biological spheres. It's the next wave of technological innovation that promises unprecedented levels of automated capabilities and performance as more inanimate objects come online, become network devices. Think autonomous vehicles or smart meters, for example, that are coming online in the same way that your smartphone used to just be a phone.
For us to talk about the fourth industrial revolution, it's important for us to kind of understand the first three because, Claire, we're actually
fair enough
still in the third industrial revolution. The first industrial revolution, it was the trailblazers that harnessed steam and water to power machines, and that gave us the steam engine. And then there was the second industrial revolution, which is all about energy. And it was the trailblazers who powered mass production, and they changed the manufacturing industry forever. And then there's the third industrial revolution. This is the one we're currently in. Most of us have lived through this. And we had mainframes, right, to client server. Then we had the internet, and the internet gave us cloud. And then cloud, wow. I mean, there was this mass disruption of technology, social, mobile, IoT, everything's connected. Everybody's connected. And many government agencies haven't been able to keep up with this pace, this technology change, right? But it was the trailblazers, the ones that kind of saw through all these challenges, that were able to keep government organizations apprised of the technology changes and keep up with the pace. And so now, this next wave's building. But it's the trailblazers that are recognizing, hey, times are changing. Our citizens are demanding the same experience that they get in their private lives because everything's mobile, everything's social, everything's connected. And so it's the government trailblazers in the third industrial revolution that kept their agencies up to speed on these changes, especially as this new wave's building, where we are entering the fourth industrial revolution, right? We're at a dawn of a new era. It's this age of intelligence, just like the last three industrial revolutions. It's going to radically impact governments. It's going to impact governments. It's going to impact economies, our societies, our lives, right? It's going to create new jobs, new industries, but it's also going to create an opportunity for government where they can modernize faster than ever before. And they could do this by leveraging these technologies from the third industrial revolution, right? The cloud, the social, the mobile, everything's connected, with the beginning of this fourth industrial revolution of artificial intelligence, right? It's going to allow governments to take these technologies and rapidly catch up quickly. So, at the end of the day, this is the first time in a long time where they could leap out of legacy and into the government of the future. This transition to the fourth industrial revolution, it's going to be shaped by trailblazers, and it's going to be trailblazers like Amtrak.
The grandeur of the prairies, the canyons, the national parks, you can see it all from the train. We want to make sure that our customer experience is top-notch, that we're world-class. It's an incredible responsibility to me to make sure that that trip goes well. We do create memories on a daily basis. I wasn't here during the steam era, but I saw all the remnants of the infrastructure.
Things have changed. Industry has changed. We have gone from mainframes to client server to cloud to mobile.
When I first came to Amtrak, we had over 400 applications. Our time was spent maintaining them and not doing anything to move the ball forward.
We want to consolidate our applications so that we reduce the total cost of ownership. So that's our digital dilemma. How do we do it faster, cheaper, better?
And that's where Salesforce came into Amtrak. We have focused on reusing the building block capabilities of Salesforce to drive rapid time to market. It's frankly been at the center of the whole transformation going on at Amtrak.
Amtrak is an iconic brand. Customers ride our trains every day. The experience they have needs to really match up to the digital age.
We're dialed in on the metrics of our business and what makes a difference, and using technology to take us there and beyond where we thought we could go.
We kept doubling down on what's kept the company running, yet we kept innovating at the edge to drive outcomes for the lines of business across Amtrak.
The TOPS app has literally allowed us to double our efficiency with our workforce.
How can I make the life of the conductor, the engineer, the people who are in the train cars happy and productive?
Salesforce allows our personnel who are responsible for train servicing to be out in the field where they need to be.
When you think about this is a hotel on wheels. Our employees are now empowered to make sure that that train turns on time. This is the first time in my time at Amtrak that I have seen somebody be excited about a tool to enable them to do their job better, smarter, faster.
We are not a technology company. We should be riding on the innovation curve of large tech companies like Salesforce and focusing on what's unique, which makes us different. So the possibilities are limitless.
It's clear to me that our option, our main intent, is to be the best. And if that means that we're blazing a trail, then I want to be there to help blaze that trail.
There is a transformation effort underway at Amtrak that includes everything from physical to technological infrastructure. The team took an application-based strategy and expanded upon it, creating an employee enablement platform that teams are using to, 1, access mobile apps, incredibly important if you think about the number of employees that instead of coming into a desk every morning, they come into a train yard or a station counter. 2, get a daily feed of information that's tailored to fit that employee's job function. Again, incredibly important given the variety of roles that come into play when you've got union labor and full-time employees all coming together to keep the trains running on time. And 3, stay connected to leadership on news and announcements. Also important given that Amtrak spans coast to coast. It's a vision come to life. Sovan and team are delivering a better customer experience by strengthening the employee experience. As Kevin mentioned, Sovan joined us at our World Tour event recently. Here's his interview with Salesforce's Chief Equality Officer on stage during the event's keynote. In it, Sovan shares his perspective and reflections on this work.
So we're thrilled and honored to have you here with us today on the World Tour. And tell us a little bit, just in your, but first of all, how many employees, Amtrak, how many employees do you have?
Tony, Amtrak has 20,000 plus employees. That includes a big swathe of unionized workforce and what we call as non-agreement employees. So it makes us unique in terms of how we do business every day.
Well, that's truly at scale. And it affects the lives of so many of us here in the room and across the nation. Tell us in your view, what does it mean, at Amtrak? What does it mean to be a trailblazer?
So, Tony, this is personally my third year at Amtrak. Amtrak is an iconic brand, like we mentioned in the video. And if I take a step back, we are in the mission of connecting the length and breadth of this big, beautiful country of ours, and even few Canadian provinces, moving people in a safe, reliable, and timely manner today and every day. So from that lens, I have 3 major actors who are interacting with Amtrak: my customers, which is all of us, hopefully, my employees, and my partners. So when I think about being a trailblazer and how we can move Amtrak forward, the key thing in our mind is how do we take this swathe of technologies we are talking about, right? You talked about cloud, data, you talk about AI. I would add to that quantum computing. I would add to that artificial, augmented reality, and stitch it all together to make it simple so that ultimately my customers, my partners, and my employees have compelling, immersive experiences which work for them, which is intuitive, which just happens, right? Technology should make business outcomes simple, repetitive, and successful. So at the end of the day, I would consider, and we would consider, that we have been a successful trailblazer if each one of us has become a net promoter for Amtrak, the corporation, and the brand, right? And that helps us grow our business and drive the mission, which is a very honored mission, if I think about it in the big picture.
Well, that's truly inspiring. And maybe just share a little bit more about how the platform plays a role in that vision.
So Salesforce, Tony, has been quite pervasive at Amtrak, right? So if I just go by the product speak, we have heard a lot about it. We have the Service Cloud, we have Marketing Cloud, and we have the core Salesforce platform, right? But at the highest level, there are 4 major areas where we are driving Salesforce to enable this vision I talked about. Number 1, it's all about employee productivity and connected workforce, right? How do you stitch together and bring this massive and diverse workforce across the country of ours together? Number two, we are using Salesforce in terms of business process simplification, consolidation, and what I would call as digitization. Number three, Salesforce is at the heart of what I would call as customer service, unified case management, and the whole ability for customer listening, feedback, and rinse and repeat, right? Yeah. And last but not the least, we are using Marketing Cloud for what I would call as upsell, cross-sell, social listening, and beyond. So if you think through this whole gamut, it pretty much stretches across major pillars of Salesforce, and it's been quite a journey which we have been on.
Now, if I'm a trailblazer sitting at a department or an agency, or if I am a manager of a team where I do see some of these creative minds and these, forward-thinking individuals, what are a few things that I can start doing today?
Yeah, absolutely. And to succeed in government today, specifically government modernization, right? When it comes to IT, you've got to lead. And, I think everybody has the trailblazer somewhere deep inside them, and everybody wants to be a trailblazer and wants to innovate and do great things, but often they don't know where to start. Or often, finding the path, sometimes people fear that it's for the few and mighty. And, to us at Salesforce, we've got a platform, Trailhead is what we call it, trailhead.salesforce.com. And this is a platform that allows anyone that wants to be a trailblazer to be a trailblazer. And it's really focused on, obviously, leveraging Salesforce's cloud platform, which is purpose-built for the fourth industrial revolution. And you can learn about our out-of-the-box solutions and how to use our platform to build modern apps fast. But to get started, right, you need a place to go. And Trailhead is a free website. It's a free online learning community that's unlike any other online community before. It's fun. It's got badges. But most importantly, it's going to enable developers and business users, which is key, developers and business users, because with modern technology, right, you don't need that, or you don't want to have a developer to have to do everything for you.
Sure.
And you could go to the Trailhead and you can learn, all about these rapidly changing technologies and how to use our cloud platform to build sophisticated apps that work on any device. And so I encourage you, Claire, obviously you've seen it, but I encourage anybody out there to go to trailhead.salesforce.com and join us, and let's blaze the trail together.
Thank you for tuning into Our Digital Nation. To learn more about the trends and technology behind the discussion, visit us at salesforce.com/industries/government, or follow us on Twitter at SalesforceGov.